A new Disney Plus original movie, Phineas and Ferb the Movie, Candace Against the Universe, just came out yesterday. It was one of my most anticipated movies coming into the year because I always loved the show growing up. I still enjoy the show Phineas and Ferb whenever I rewatch some of it now. So I was really excited for this movie, extremely excited when it released yesterday, and I've been making a review for it today. So let's get right into this with the negatives as I start with. But I only really have one negative with this movie, and that's the fact that by the end of the movie, Candace goes through some character development where she's realizing she's kind of wasting her summer trying to spend all her time busing her brothers. So she decides to just try and have fun, embrace what her brothers are doing. And, it's a sweet ending. It's a nice little character development for her. But since this movie takes place before the final episode, it means at some point, basically probably the next morning, she's still going to wake up, be like, okay, I want to bust my brothers. There goes all that character development. So that annoyed me just a little, because up to the end of the series, she's still trying to bust her brothers, and this takes place before the end of the show. So, all the character development she has, it kind of comes back the finale, but, for any episodes that may take place after this, it just goes out the window. That's my only big negative. A few things I'm mixed about. The plot's kind of basic, but I guess the reason that's not a negative and is more of a mix is just because, it's a Phineas and Ferb movie, it's a kid's movie, it's not like I expected something, great plot, but, it is very predictable. And that's not a negative I have, it's just not something I'm, a big pro on. But, those are my only issues with the movie. On to the positive stuff. First off, the animation is great. You can definitely tell they had a much bigger budget than when they were making the show. I don't really know how to describe it, but the animation drastically improved. You can see them using 2D animation, but for a few shots, you can see they might maybe use kind of a mix of 2D and 3D. So I really did like that. I like how they tried something new with this movie, where they explored going to space a few times in the series, but this one they really embraced it with an alien planet and all that. And it was different from the last movie. The last one was them traveling across dimensions. This is definitely different from that. It's similar in that they're going to a journey away from, Danville and Earth and all that. But they do something new, and I like that. The music, as usual, is great, whether it's come to the actual score or all the original songs. My personal favorites being Candace's song in the cold open, the finale, and Doofenshmirtz's song about adulting in the very middle. They're all great. As usual, just as catchy as you'd expect. The humor is always amazing. There's definitely some jokes that you can tell are most of the jokes are centered around kids, but there's plenty of humor that I think kind of has this wit to it that even adults can really enjoy. Some of my personal favorite jokes, including the reoccurring one about the canoe, and when they traveled to hyperspace and kind of cut to the animators as Phineas and Ferb slowly kind of descended back to storyboards and stuff. That was really funny. So this movie got a lot of laughs out of me. Just like the show, really, really loved that. That was the thing I was looking most forward to. And it was just nice to see the characters again. The movie had plenty of nostalgia, but it didn't ride too heavily on that. It was just, they kind of made it a lot like an extended episode of the TV show, and it didn't really skip a beat with any of the characters. It didn't feel like they were trying to remind us of, oh, look, remember this, remember this. It just felt like an extended episode of the show, right? It would have fit right in if they had released it with the show during the show's run. I love that. It's good to see all the characters again. As I said, I don't like how Candace's character development is kind of wiped away, but I did like her character development. And her relationship with Phineas and Ferb is really sweet by the end of the movie. It had some fun, not necessarily action scenes, but kind of exciting scenes. I did like the villain and kind of how Candace, her whole plot twist thing was really ridiculous, but I like the villain. I like kind of all her aliens. I thought the whole they blow up whenever they get excited thing was hilarious. Another thing I liked about this movie is there was a lot of little jokes or maybe gags or things that are set up early on, paid off a little in the middle, and then they generally have a big payoff at the end. There's a lot of setup and payoff this movie, but it all feels right. So overall, it's a really fun movie. Definitely have some issues with kind of the plot, predictability, and, character development being thrown out the window after the events of this movie. But it's very self-contained. I feel like anyone can enjoy it, even if they haven't watched the show. And yeah, so I really love this movie. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's a nice, fresh hit of nostalgia, but it doesn't skip a beat from the original show. So yeah, I really love this movie, and I hope you liked the video. I have a Bill and Ted review coming up very soon. Mulan review hopefully next week. And I hope you guys like the video, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.